Hello, I'm Martin Crumpton and welcome to my television review. That's right, I don't just do movies, I do TV shows as well. And this week I'm talking about The Walking Dead. Now, this show is absolutely cracking. You have to watch it if you don't. Start right from the beginning. Work your way through. Take a week off work if you have to. And just watch them all the way through. It is absolutely cracking. It's one of the best shows on telly. It's one of the best shows ever. It gets loads of viewers. It's really popular. And, you know, how could loads of people be wrong? It's great. Watch it. Now, the second half of season 6 has just started. I don't know why. They do each season in 2 halves, so that they can have 2 sort of premieres and 2 finales out of one season. I don't know why they do that, but yeah, the new premiere was really exciting. You can always tell an especially exciting and great episode of The Walking Dead because it will have an explosion or at least some sort of fire in it, and that, I mean, it's always great, but the explosion in particular is a very clever sort of visual clue to the audience to let them know that what they're watching is really exciting and just really fantastic. And it's just gone from strength to strength. It's just getting better and better. It's even got its own spin-off show now called Fear the Walking Dead, which I only saw 2 episodes of. I was almost bored to death, but I assume the ones I haven't seen are fantastic because everyone says it is, and they can't be wrong. Now, and back to The Walking Dead, an interesting thing it does is it doesn't use any sort of interesting visuals whatsoever, and I assume that is a completely purposeful, you know, decision on the maker's behalf to show this kind of drab post-apocalyptic universe. It's just there's never any interesting scenery or locations. They're constantly just walking through an endless forest, or occasionally they'll go past a sort of brown building or a sort of grey road. And visually it's like watching a sort of sludge. It's like watching some sort of sewer sort of trickling past your eyes. And it's all sort of browns, dark greens, greys, sometimes very dark greys, because sometimes, I don't know who does the lighting on it, but sometimes when there's scenes set at night time you can't really see what's going on. I mean, there was one episode I remember which was mostly it was an episode that had Daryl in, you know, obviously the fan favourite character Daryl. And it was mostly him, and it was mostly set at night, and you couldn't really see him, and you could just hear him, and it just sounded like a bear kind of grumbling in the dark, perhaps trapped in a tunnel or something. But the scenery, it's kind of got that really kind of drab, almost unwatchable element to it, which I really like. And it's part of the reason why I think it's so popular. And the characters almost exclusively wear a kind of filthy beige clothes. In fact, if I was going to rename The Walking Dead, I'd probably rename it Filthy Beige, because that pretty much sums it up, I think. Although The Walking Dead is good because it does have the dead in it, zombies, and a lot of walking, because the characters are constantly walking, you know, from place to place, which will invariably sort of get destroyed in an explosion, then they walk to the next place. That explodes, walk to the next place. You know, that's how it works. That's how storytelling works. Yeah, I mentioned Daryl just now. He's the fan favourite character. He is awesome. He's always on hand with a sort of grumbly remark. He's popular with the ladies, and I'm not really sure why, because to me he sort of looks like somebody's emo dad. You know, I can imagine him going to his kids' parents' evening and all of the other kids going, "Wow, your dad's really cool," and they go, "Yeah, I know, he's awesome." But then as they grow up, they look back at that and realise that he was probably very lonely. The sort of man that would sit in his car in the garage listening to music by himself and perhaps having a little cry, with his sort of with his hair. His hair's changed, because he used to be sort of blonde, but now he's got that long black hair. I don't know where he's got the hair dye from. Perhaps he sort of sneaks off into the woods to dye his hair sometimes. So in summary, The Walking Dead is fantastic. It's the best show on telly. If you're not watching it, you are a big old square.